aesthetic. And next, it is a wrap, and it was so amazing. I'm really excited to recap my week with you at Aesthetic Next 2023 in Dallas. I got my magazine here and all of the amazing workshops and sessions that happened last week in Dallas. So I'm really excited to be sharing with you my big takeaways from this year. So when I was really thinking about all of the amazing things that I learned and the people that I met, I kind of categorize them into 4 different areas. So leadership, business, treatments, and then innovations. So, and I really was able to pull so many good nuggets. I can't really even name them all because there were so many huge takeaways from this conference. It was absolutely amazing. First, like the whole theme, I believe, like for me always is how can I work smarter, not harder? And there was so many nuggets that, like I said, that I was able to pull that in leadership, business, treatments, and innovations that I was like, oh my God, that is all about working smarter, not harder. That is going to get you a better result. And one of the first big takeaways too, that I thought was really amazing that they were talking about is utilizing a medical assistant for your top performers. So before you go and be like, oh, I need to hire another injector or another top performer, right? Look at how you can assist them, make their life easier and better so that they can see more patients, right? So getting a medical assistant that can turn over their room, that can prep their room, that can assist in pulling retail products and helping the patient leave, right, so they can move on to the next patient, to help prep their injectables, and really being thoughtful of the role and responsibility of that medical assistant. And there's some really great trainers out there, specifically some badass medical assistants that make the life easier for that all-star provider. And so be really thoughtful and break that down, that role and responsibility, because it literally could be the difference in hundreds, if not thousands of dollars every single day. Imagine if your top performer, who averages $750 to $1,500 an hour, can see 1 or 2 more patients every single day. Imagine how that is going to impact your bottom line. So if you haven't ever considered that, you really should take a look at that. Okay, the next thing that was really hot topic was, of course, semaglutide and peptide therapy. In addition to, of course, HRT, but really bridging the gap between wellness and aesthetics. And we have a lot of clients that want to do semaglutide or peptide marketing and campaigns. And of course, we love it. And to me, it makes perfect sense, right? When you feel good on the inside, right, then looking good on the outside is so much better and so much easier. And what I want you to be cautious of, and that really the theme around the education around semaglutide and peptide and even HRT was not to be transactional, right, with those programs. Because the reality is that you can go to your primary care doctor to get semaglutide, right? So if you're going to offer that in your practice, you want to develop a true program, right? It also, so not only is it going to get the patient a better result if it's more than just here's your medication, go home and inject it, but really developing a true program and then coupling that with either your body contouring services or your HRT or your aesthetic services, right? Feel good on the inside, look good on the outside. Developing comprehensive programs is the key when offering that in your practice. Okay, on the leadership side of things, one of the quotes that I heard that I thought was so powerful when you're having difficult conversations with your team member is stating this, that, hey, this is an important conversation that we're having, not a conflict. I'm not trying, to point fingers or for this to be a conflict between us, but an opportunity for us to have a conversation before it could potentially turn into a conflict, right? To try to kind of lower the emotion of a conversation, to help people bring their guard down to being open to receiving a little bit more information, right? Instead of being so combative, ready to fight. So I loved that phrase. This is a conversation, not a conflict. So good, right? I loved the Maven financial girls, Jessica and Kristen, like they were amazing. What I liked about what they were sharing about their session about building a profitable med spa through a financial strategy. I like how they, their strategy and reverse engineering a plan to pay off debt and to then ultimately being profitable, right? And there's absolutely strategies in order to do that. And when you have a focused plan in place, then your actions are going to follow and be focused in that energy to achieve those financial goals. So it's very like there's a thoughtful plan behind it, right? It's not just be like, oh, I hope there's money in the bank at the end of the month, right? So you need to have a plan in place to pay off devices, right? To pay off your building or to be ready to make another big investment. So I loved the girls at Maven Financial. They were amazing. Also, I loved what Leslie Tracy was talking about in building benefits, right, of how to keep top performers and really make sure that you have happy employees in their compensation plan. So too often than not, they just think it's about salary or commission, right? And then you get free services, which is great, right? Those things are important, but you have to remember that the medical professionals on the aesthetic side of things are often very used to getting full benefits, right, from hospitals. So if you are able to offer complete, compensation packages that include health insurance, disability, dental, eye, retirement, that could be a differentiator and how you're able to recruit and keep top talent. So consider looking at and investing in really full benefit packages. So great job with Leslie Tracy. They had a brand new esthetician track at Aesthetic Next this year. And one of the themes that was reoccurring from a number of different speakers was healthy skin and hormones, the skin and cycling, right? And so based on what's going on with our hormones, what we should be doing in our daily skincare regimen, in addition to, whether it's injectables or devices or facials. I loved coupling the pair of that. And that you really view skincare as its own separate service, right? Like sometimes I feel like estheticians do a great job. They love skincare, right? That it's their jam, they're passionate about it. But sometimes our medical providers, our injectors, our laser technicians that aren't as passionate about the healthy skin, right? Prepping the skin, maintaining the skin, as our estheticians forget about it. And so I loved how passionate these presenters were. We're treating like skincare as its own service, right? And really educating and learning how you combine that with injectables and laser devices, and really educating your patient about, that daily regimen and how it goes with our hormones, our life cycles, and what's happening and how to maintain your results longer, right? How to prep your skin to get a better result when you do those other treatments. And I think that some, not all, don't do the work to really make that a part of their natural consultation and treatment plan development. And so I thought that was really spot on. What I love about conferences and time again is like the best of the best teaching, sharing, pouring into providers on becoming more confident in developing comprehensive combination treatment plans. And the more you do it, the better that you get at it, the more confident you do it, you get with it when you start combining lasers with injectables and peels and skincare, right? Because in a perfect world, you need all of those different tools in your tool belt to get the best results possible, to maintain results, right? To prep their skin from the get-go. And so, that is the place, right? If you or your team, if you need to get more comfortable, more confident, developing comprehensive treatment plans, conferences are the place to do it, because those top performers, those industry leaders that are doing, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 plus an hour are absolutely confident, passionate about developing comprehensive treatment plans. So I loved a lot of people were calling it like a 360-degree approach and utilizing all the tools in their tool belt. And I just thought it was amazing. Okay. And the last big takeaway was regenerative medicine and tools, right? And complementing, your other aesthetic services and treatments. And so there was a lot of talk about exosomes, which I personally am a fan of. So if you are not using exosomes in your practice yet, you got to check that out. You have to check out exosomes. And then of course, a lot of PLLA or Sculptra, biostimulatory derma fillers. What I loved, it was a new perspective that I hadn't seen yet. Of course, I spend more time in the business and marketing tracks, more so than the injectors or treatment tracks, of course. But there was just undoubtedly so much talk about Sculptra and exosomes and PDO threads, and really looking at, those treatments that where your body naturally produces and stimulates collagen, right? For a more natural look, a more gradual look. And what I loved about this training that I hadn't picked up before was that it's not just for 50 and 60-year-old women, that you really can start doing these treatments. And it works even better when we are younger, like in our 30s, to be able to start doing that instead of, doing so much filler, right? Which filler is great. There's a time and a place that Sculptra cannot replace there. I'm not saying, to replace it fully, but I do think that there was a strong recommendation that it's good and great and better to begin doing some of these biostimulatory type of treatments sooner than waiting, instead of waiting until later. So I loved so many other elements, and it was such a fun event. Like Aesthetic Next doesn't skip the fun meter at this conference. So if you have the opportunity to go next year, I highly recommend it. It's around the same time, that first week of September next year in Dallas, which is where the Aesthetic Record headquarters is, and they're who hosts Aesthetic Next. So I recommend for you to check that out. I also loved meeting the AmSpa ladies. Kathy is amazing. There's so many great people, so many great technologies and vendors that I met there in the industry. And so I was excited to learn from them and hear, what's really working well for their clients right now, and the innovations that they are developing to make the med spa industry as a whole better. So that was really fun and exciting. So I'm so thankful to Tiffany Hall and Justin Harper at Aesthetic Next, who gave me the opportunity and platform to speak at 3 different sessions. I did train my practice manager, which was really well attended. That was exciting. I did a workshop, 4 steps to paying off your med spa device, which was fantastic. I mean, I'm just so passionate about that one. That was really fun to pour into those that attended. And then the new practice owner bootcamp was great. There were a total of 10 industry leaders of all walks of life, where we just poured in for over 4 hours to new med spa owners. So Meredith Kinch, Shelby Sloan, Mary Ford, Carla Pearson, so Brandon Mullen, so many great people that I met, that I learned from, that I had fun with. It just couldn't have been a greater experience in Dallas. So I encourage you to check out that event next year, and to look at the calendar, right? I love learning and growing and taking what I've learned and coming home and implementing into my business. And you can do the same for yours, right? Probably even more than me, because it's so much more geared, obviously, to med spa owners and providers, estheticians. So look at your calendar, look at all the different events coming up in fourth quarter, and certainly in Q1 and Q2, and get it plotted on your calendar. Set aside a budget, right, for your learning and growth, and invest in yourself, because investing in yourself will pay dividends greater than any other marketing that you probably could do, right? If you actually invest in yourself, learn, take what you learned and implement it in your business. All right, guys, if you loved this training, make sure you share it with your team or another med spa that could benefit. And you can catch my replay on my YouTube channel, and to access more free trainings to help your med spa grow, make sure that you visit my link tree and my social media bio, and catch me live every single Wednesday at 2:30 Central Time, same place. Catch me on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Thanks, guys.